Hey there, good morning. On this finally Friday, November 15th, welcome to Breakfast with Bridgett, streaming live on News 6 Plus and clickorlando.com. I'm your host, Bridgett Ellison. We finally made it to Friday. It's been a really nice week weather-wise, and that is continuing, but there's another big weather story lurking in the background because we are watching that tropical storm, and Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is going to get us caught up on all we need to know with that. We're going to take a look at some of the top headlines across Central Florida, and today a live interview with a doctor about the links between melanoma and breast cancer. Some really important information to keep in mind and share. So we'll get to that a little bit later. Plus, is Angel Tree Kickoff Day. So we have all the details coming up on that because we've got to get everybody ready for the holidays, especially those in need. So let's get over to the Pinpoint Weather Center, find out what's happening with weather today. We had a few sprinkles this morning, Candace, but it's been a really nice week.
It really has. I mean, at the end of the day, the weather is going to get even better. So we've been, tracking a little bit of kind of that humidity in place. We had that cold front come through earlier in the week. It started making things feel comfortable. It really didn't drop temperatures anything really significant, but at least it started to kind of take some of that humidity off our plate just a little bit. So that's certainly why it's been feeling kind of nice over the last couple of days. Now it's a secondary cold front that's really going to be ushering in those temperatures back to where they should be for this time of the year.
Okay.
And our average is 78. And that's where we're going to be heading to later on this afternoon. So let's take it to the maps. We are dealing with a couple of those scattered showers right now across areas of kind of central to south from Orlando, southward to Osceola, Brevard County. Very fast-moving showers, Bridgett. But once that cold front finally comes through Central Florida, that cool air will settle in. Things will be feeling very nice. Mild days, cool mornings, cool evenings as well. But then as we head into early next week, we're going to start to tick those rain chances up, especially come Wednesday as our temperatures also are on the rise, all thanks to some more tropical moisture. At this point of the game, that tropical moisture is organized enough to have a name. It is Tropical Storm Sarah. But once it gets here, will it even have a name? Will it even be an organized system or just a sloppy mess? We'll explain that in just a second. Looking here at the clouds and rain forecast, nothing extremely sloppy out there right now. We are dealing with a couple of those scattered showers, but most of it will kind of continue to pool out of Central Florida, bring in and ushering in that cooler, drier air mass. We get that strong north breeze, and that's going to continue to whip up throughout the afternoon. Then as we head into Saturday, our winds will veer a little more out of the northeast, and that will bring in a little bit more cloud cover, but overall just a fantastic looking stretch throughout the weekend. So as we take you here hour by hour, so you can plan out your day. Highs this afternoon will be into those upper 70s. It will be windy at times, so that will increase some concerns along our beaches. Look at your lows this evening. We're going to be down into the 50s in Marion and the Villages in and around Osceola County. Will also be into those 50s. So pretty much 50s across our inland to western zones, mid 60s there along our coastline. These are the concerns we're talking about when it comes to that breeze. The winds will be picking up today, gusting upwards about 25 to 30 miles per hour. That is going to increase that risk of rip currents. But also I do want to mention we do have a coastal flood advisory as some of those stronger the time of the stronger winds and the high tides could worsen and create a little bit of beach erosion out there. Here is the latest on Tropical Storm Sarah. You can see it's still bringing with it a lot of rain for parts of Honduras. As it continues to kind of just brush the coast there of Honduras into Belize, it will be making landfall and kind of weakening into a depression as early as about Monday. Now you think, all right, that's it. That's the end of Tropical Storm Sarah. But let me show you what's a lot of our models are picking up right now. You can see the kind of weekends falls apart. Where's Sarah at this point in time? Really not noticeable come Monday and into Tuesday. But look what's happening to our north. That's another cold front, which, by the way, could pack a little more of a punch later on next week. But before it gets here, it will be picking up some of that moisture and streaming it across Central Florida. Now look at that. We're not talking about an organized system, but we could be tapping into more tropical moisture, maybe a few thunderstorms, a little bit on the soggier side on Wednesday, and then here the front finally clears on Thursday, bringing temperatures even cooler than what we're expecting this weekend. So as we get results here with their full 7-day forecast, near normal for today and tomorrow, we'll start that warming process, but still feeling very comfortable into Sunday and Monday, increasing those rain chances for your Wednesday up to about a 50% for now. How long will Sarah or the remnants of Sarah sit out in the Gulf of Mexico? There's a lot of wind shear. The water temperature has cooled down significantly due to some of the stronger storms that have been there for the past couple of weeks. The cold fronts also help cool down the waters too. So there's not a lot of juice for storms to develop right out of the Gulf. The Caribbean, that's a different story. But how can Sarah strengthen and intensify again doesn't look likely. So certainly we'll be dealing with some rain. It just won't be an organized system. So tropical season is still here. Hurricane season runs through the end of November. So nothing is completely out of the picture. But we, of course, will continue to monitor it. And we ask you to continue to keep checking back. And we, of course, will let you know of any new developments.
I feel a little better. Is that okay?
Yes,
All right.
that's fine. Yeah, we could do that. We can certainly start being a little more optimistic. A lot of the models earlier in the week were showing it staying away from the Yucatan and like riding that Yucatan channel, very warm waters. So if that would have happened, it would have created a lot more availability for the storm to strengthen. But we don't see that happening for now.
All right. Wonderful. Well, Candace, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Let's get a check of your traffic, and traffic safety expert Trooper Steve is getting ready to work on some things for us. How's the traffic this morning?
Traffic's doing pretty good, actually, so we can jump right to it. So there was a report of a crash out here along State Road 528 out by Innovation, which is just east of State Road 417. And I've pulled up a few DOT cams, nothing out there this morning, no even delay. So we are running smooth. Now, it is Friday, so the delays start later. However, they are focused out towards the attractions, and I'm not picking it up this morning. So we are in really good shape. Look at that. I-4 over by 528 in both directions, whether you're headed towards Sand Lake or maybe towards our attractions. It's going to be a nice day out there, according to our Chief Meteorologist, Candace Campos. So Poinciana Boulevard northbound, obviously we'll run into a quick delay, but this goes pretty clear after about two cycles of the light there, and then 535 pretty clear. Outside of that, this morning, it's everything just routine. The delays are just starting to settle in on 192 out there by the Turnpike. But northbound Turnpike, not horrible. Looks like we do have a crash that just came out along Lakeshore out there along in St. Cloud. So just be careful. I did not know about that one. And then, of course, my map updates, which is a good thing. Eastbound I-4 by Champions Gate, your drive time, 37 minutes to downtown. So for the most part, Bridgett, pretty routine. If it's a Friday, as long as people are paying attention, they'll be good to go.
All right. And so yesterday you worked on some recycling, and we got to see some of that imagery. So what's up for today?
Yeah, it was fun. Real quick, though, I learned a lot, actually, out there at Seminole County, because they were able to explain things that I do that I should not be doing. So,
like?
For example, a pizza box. So if it has oil, you can't recycle it.
Right.
So anything contaminated with food, you should be rinsing it out if you're truly dedicated. And then they were really focused on, look, if you're going to recycle and you want to recycle, just take the extra steps to make sure it counts. So I'm not harping on getting on a soapbox about it, but it's really easy.
And did we lose him? Oh, man. Well, tune in at 10 for On Patrol. Wait, there he is.
I am here.
On Patrol today, quickly.
Yes, we're going to do, I'm going to break down exactly what the angel tree stuff looks like, where you can go and look at it, and kind of encourage you guys to maybe grab more than one, because we have seniors and kids. So join me at 10.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. See you then.
Bye.
Bye. So we have a few stories to tell you about this morning, making the headlines. There's this sort of strange story here. Treasure Roberts has it. It's an unsolved mystery in Deltona. Unfortunately, investigators and neighbors are trying to figure out who has killed cats and left them in the roads around some areas, some residential areas. But they say that it doesn't look like it was caused by an animal. So here is Treasure with more and concerned neighbors there.
Neighbors say it's the norm to see cats in this Deltona neighborhood, but they say what's unusual is that several have started to turn up dead.
I think it's terrifying.
Jennifer McCain of Deltona got this text from her son over the weekend.
He said, "Oh, don't go anywhere." He said there's dead cats, and then he said they're everywhere.
The alarming discovery put many people who live in the neighborhood on guard. McCain said some cats looked like they were bludgeoned.
The third cat was like slit, a straight slit down, not an animal, and its organs were sort of removed from its body but left right there beside of it. It looked to them like they were strategically placed by homes where the cats were fed. They were all black cats.
As of now, neighbors have no idea who is behind these cat killings. Deltona Animal Control says the Volusia County Sheriff's Office is investigating, adding the area will be heavily patrolled as the matter is investigated.
This could be a precursor to something more violent against other animals or children or people. You know, this is just disturbing behavior.
In Deltona, Treasurer Roberts, Getting Results, News 6.
Also this morning, we're covering some changes coming to downtown Orlando following the deadly shooting that happened over Halloween there. So the goal is to cut down on sort of the block party, street party atmosphere. So they are reopening some parts that used to be closed down for the crowds. So Mark Lehman has more on how they will keep a stretch of Orange Avenue open on the weekends now.
It's the next step in a big push to increase safety in downtown Orlando. Starting tonight, the city is taking additional measures to end the street party atmosphere, which is what we saw 2 weeks ago when thousands of people were in the middle of a shooting that left 2 people dead and 9 others injured.
When you've got bars and alcohol, you start to have a problem, and when you have more people, it just happens.
The city says barricades will begin tonight to keep pedestrians closer to sidewalks. While a timeline is unclear, eventually Orange Avenue will open 1 lane and then all 3 lanes of traffic, something that's gotten mixed reactions.
I don't know. I just don't feel like opening the lanes up would change anything. If anything, I think it'll probably make it more crazier because there's more people on the side running into each other.
Tonight's changes come a week after Orlando lifted its state of emergency and curfew. Those we spoke with hope all of this will be the answer to improve downtown.
They have to do something, and I can't blame them. I know a lot of people are angry and have different views, but we can't keep having this as a city.
And of course, we'll follow up and see how things go and if this is helping with the atmosphere there, those changes from city leaders. But we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with Dr. Moorhead to talk about the links between melanoma and breast cancer. Welcome back, and we are live this morning with Dr. Christy Moorhead, a Mohs surgeon at Advanced Dermatology and Cosmetic Surgery, and we're talking about the links between melanoma and breast cancer. You know, we had October was our awareness month, but it is a year-round, a 365-day thing. Dr. Moorhead, thank you for being with us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
So we wanted to focus on this link. Is this something that people are growing in awareness about?
Yeah, so I think it's something that we're finding more and more about, especially as we learn more and more about gene mutations and genetic testing. And what we've really found is that if you have had breast cancer, your risk of developing melanoma down the line could be as high as 2.5 times more than if you had never had the breast cancer. And that really actually increases the younger that you are diagnosed with the breast cancer.
So what should people do in terms of the testing to find out if that could possibly be an issue for them?
So, I mean, the first thing, and most people who have had breast cancer will do the genetic testing to see if they carry that BRCA gene. If there's a strong history of melanoma in your family, you can also be tested from some different types of mutations that it can increase your risk of melanoma, and then subsequently, possibly
So are you saying to get tested
well.
after you are diagnosed with one of these, or should you get tested now to find out if you're carrying the gene even before a diagnosis is what I'm wondering.
That is a great question. And that is really something that they are trying to figure out. I think if you have a strong history of breast cancer or melanoma in your family, then absolutely talk to your primary care doctor, about whether or not you should see a geneticist and get some of these tests done. But what we can do after the fact, we can't change our genes. The biggest risk factor is age. We can't change that. But what can we do to change our risk factors or modify them? And that's really taking care of first the inside of our bodies, getting plenty of exercise, eating that healthy diet, plenty of sleep, refraining from smoking. And then what can we do for the outside of our bodies? And the skin is great because it's one of the few organs that we can actually see. So getting those full body skin exams with your dermatologist. Here at Advanced Dermatology and Cosmetic Surgery, we actually offer free skin checks. So we have locations all over Central Florida and are happy to participate in that screening.
Okay. And when it comes to thinking about this link, what is it that we can do if maybe this is like a test that we want, but maybe we don't have a history or we just really want to know? That's usually not one of those tests that you could just get automatically from your doctor. Is it covered by insurance? Like, how do we get around those issues? Because it's not a standard procedure yet to test people for all these different markers.
It is not a standard, and obviously it would not generally be covered by insurance unless there is that strong family history. Some of the genetic, like the Ancestry, 23andMe, some of those types will actually check for some of these. Mm-hmm. But then, the downside is you don't have a counselor or a physician to go over those results with you. Mm-hmm. So I really think that starting with your primary care physician, getting the information from them about who they would recommend to talk to, and then seeing if that's something that your particular insurance would cover.
Mm-hmm. When we talked about the link earlier, when we just got connected this morning, there's not necessarily one that precedes the other. It's interchangeable.
So they have found that if you carry the BRCA mutation, which is what we see with breast cancer, that is a much higher risk for then developing melanoma. So it's about 2.5 times increased risk. If you carry one of the mutations for melanoma, like the CDK2A, whatever, then your risk for subsequently developing breast cancer is only about 1.4%. But still, that is a increased risk. So it goes both ways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And do you find that more and more people are going to the dermatologist, getting these regular skin checks, or is this something that people kind of put off, or how can we get people in more regularly? I mean, you talk about the free check, but
Mhm.
What is it about skin and dermatology that people really need to know? Because I mean, it is, like you said, it's something you can see, but I think sometimes maybe
Right.
people take it for granted.
Right. So, doing your own skin checks. So, we talk about the ABCDs of melanoma. So, when we're looking at a brown spot, is it asymmetric? Is the border irregular? Is it not only a dark spot, but does it have more than one color in it? Is the diameter larger? So, is it, bigger than the size of maybe an eraser on a pencil? And then the E enlarging, is it really changing? Those are things that you can monitor yourself if something is new, and then find a dermatologist, have somebody that you see regularly for those full body skin exams, and let them know, hey, this is new, this is changing, it wasn't here before. Those that can help so much.
Can you also talk about those misconceptions around skin tone and race, and that this affects, everyone regardless of like skin tone or ethnic background?
It does. So obviously you're at a higher risk the lighter your skin is. However, I have seen melanoma in almost every ethnicity. Um, it can often go unrecognized in somebody with darker pigmented skin because they just don't realize that that is a risk for them. And so they still need to be mindful of looking at their spots. Is something changing? Getting it checked early.
Mm-hmm. And what about surgery? That is also something that is a little scary to think about for most people. But
Yeah.
when it comes to surgery, and maybe you do need to have something looked at, something removed, talk about some of the advancements in some of those procedures, and how it's a little easier for patients now in a lot of cases.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think one of the great things is when we can find these things early, when we can catch a melanoma when it's just in its very, very early stages. The surgery is something that can actually be done in the office in an outpatient setting. There's no general anesthesia, um, not a lot of recovery afterwards, and it makes such a huge difference. There is, as we've developed more and more um, types of therapies. They're not the traditional chemotherapies that people used to go on. They're what we call immunotherapies that really help our own bodies to fight melanoma.
Mm-hmm.
But our goal really is to prevent those patients from ever getting to that stage, to catch the melanoma early, remove it when it's something that can have, as high as a 99% cure rate with a simple procedure in the office.
Okay. And what's some of your best general advice for people at all ages in terms of general skincare and the general practices they should be doing?
I mean, you hear every dermatologist say it over and over, sunscreen. Avoid getting, it, people think the tan looks pretty, but, it is a big risk. That is one of the biggest modifiable or risks that we can actually have change is that UV damage. So sunscreen, sun protective clothing, hats, avoiding those peak hours of sun in the middle of the day when it is strongest. Um, and and then again, getting regular skin checks.
Mm-hmm. And that we shouldn't be afraid of the sun, though. We need the sun. We need that daylight for rhythms and
Right.
for our general health too. But there's just that protection factor that's in there when it becomes a prolonged exposure that adds up.
Right. And, I mean, all of the sun exposure adds up over our
Mm-hmm.
lifetime. And then that's one of the biggest risk factors for some of the non melanoma skin cancers is just that cumulative damage
Mm-hmm.
or what adds up over your lifetime. So,
Mm-hmm.
yes, vitamin D is important. We can also supplement with vitamin D, fortunately. Most patients or most people here in Florida do not have a problem getting enough vitamin D. We have sun all year round, um, but really avoiding that strong sun damage to your skin, that UV radiation.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, wonderful to talk to you this morning. Thank you so much, Dr.
Yeah, thank you so
Moorhead.
much.
Have a great
Thank you
weekend.
so much for having me. You too.
Take care. All right. Also this morning, we mentioned it a little bit with Trooper Steve. Angel Tree Kickoff is today. Our Angie Casada has a special family that we're highlighting. And it's just, one of thousands of families, children and seniors that you can help this holiday season. And she has their story of how it really makes a difference, and you can be a part of it.
Before I found out about Angel Tree, if I'm being completely honest, we never, like me and my kids, before she was born, me and her and my other daughter, Gabby, we never really celebrated Christmas, or we didn't have Christmas. We didn't have gifts and stuff.
Lucine Pluvos, a single mother of 3, is just one of many parents grateful for the support of the Angel Tree program. This year, she's sharing her story in hopes that others will be inspired to help.
I recommend if you have any trouble, problems, you just contact them. They are literally the most amazing people.
The program provides toys, clothing, and essential items for children and seniors whose families are going through financial hardship.
That Angel Tree is the only Christmas that 5,000 of those kids may have, and 1,000 of our seniors. So for the community, it is wonderful because it builds dignity and hope.
Angel Tree locations across Orlando are ready for the community members to stop by and select a child's name, each with a wish list of items to make the holiday season a little brighter.
It gives them assurance that they're not alone, that there's a community there.
And for families like Lucine's, it's more than just a gift. It's a reminder of hope and support from neighbors they may never meet. Reporting in Orlando, Angie Casada, Getting Results, News 6.
And of course, we'll have coverage this afternoon as it kicks off from the mall at Millennia. So join us at noon, and all of that starts at 4 p.m. today, and we'll give you the details on where to find all the angels and adopt them and help make someone's Christmas a little bit brighter. And it's children and seniors. So that's what's also really wonderful about your opportunity to adopt an angel and choose someone that you want to help out. You can also go to clickorlando.com/angeltree to get more information. Before we go this morning, I want to remind you about the Turkey Drive, the Black Men Sundays 2024 Thanksgiving Turkey Drive, and you can help support the families of Boys and Girls Clubs of Central Florida. We're hoping to feed 50 families this Thanksgiving. If you would like to help be a part of that, scan that QR code or email Corey at blackmensundays.com, and those donations are being accepted through next Wednesday, the 20th. So please help out those families at Boys and Girls Club. Also, insiders, sign up to get your tickets for a chance to win to go see ice at Gaylord Palms. And the ice sculptors are hard at work right now over there at the hotel putting together this beautiful display that you get to walk through, and the theme is Elf. You remember the movie Elf? That is the theme this year, the Christmas theme. So they are putting all that together right now, carving that ice, and you will want to go see it. We're choosing a winner every weekday until the 29th. So you have a really good shot at winning a 4-pack of tickets. And that's a good savings too, because when you get there, you'll want to buy souvenirs and pictures and all this other stuff. So register to be an insider. That's free to join. Go over to clickorlando.com/insider, enter that contest and all the others that pop up. Good luck. That's going to do it for us on this Friday. Hope you have a great day. I'll see you a little bit later at noon. Take care.